Hey guys, it's Sarah. So I thought I would do some end of year videos where I talk about some of the cool things that I was into this year. And this video, I thought I would talk about 5 of my favorite TV shows of 2022. These are in no particular order. So the first one is the last season of This Is Us. So I've been a fan of this show since it started. I feel like the writing on the show has been really good. It's been kind of an emotional show. It's kind of like it kind of makes people cry every episode. And of course that's pretty much how they ended it. Of course it was very sad. But I think everyone expected it to be, and I really thought they ended it really well, and I thought it was a very fitting ending for the series. I thought they just kind of tied up everything really well, and I was really happy with the way they ended it. I thought they really did all the characters justice. The next show that was a favorite of mine was I think it was the 5th season of The Handmaid's Tale, whatever season was on this year. I feel like I've always loved this show. I really liked the book. It was only the first season that was really based on the book, and then they kind of branched off and sort of did their own thing ever since then, and I feel like they've done a really good job of kind of continuing the story. There have been some like slower moments in previous seasons, but I feel like with the 5th season, it was all really, really strong. Like, there was one episode, I can't remember which one, but there was one where every single moment was like very suspenseful and the pacing was really good. I really love how June and what's the blonde lady's name? The commander's wife. I'm blanking on her name right now. But I love how their relationship kind of developed over the course of this season. I thought that was super interesting. I thought the whole thing was really, really well written. I thought the writing just got really superb. Not that the other seasons haven't been good. I mean, all the writing I think has been good on that show, but all of the characters just got really, really compelling this season. Even, Aunt Lydia, I feel like she got more interesting. I'm really excited to see what they do next season. The next show I really loved was the show Severance, which was on Apple TV. This is kind of like a Black Mirror type show, but the plot twist at the end, I really did not see it coming. And I mean, it was like left on a cliffhanger that, I usually I'm not like that affected by cliffhangers. I'm like, oh, okay, well, whatever. That's, I want to know what happens. Maybe I don't. But okay, I'll just wait. It's not that big a deal. But this cliffhanger, I was like, what's going to happen? I really wanted to know. I thought the premise and the idea behind this show was just really unique and really well done. And it just raised a lot of interesting questions that I really found to be thought-provoking. And the next show that I really loved this year was The Sandman on Netflix. And this is based on the comics by Neil Gaiman, which I've been told to read forever, but I never actually did read them. So when I came to the show, it was like not knowing anything. And I really, really loved the whole fantasy world. I really loved the character of the Sandman. If anybody's read my books, The Muse Chronicles, he was very like brooding and emo, and he kind of reminded me of Vincent a little bit. I really enjoyed the way they did death as a concept. I really loved the way they did the devil. And I really loved like what it said about kind of, humanity and dreams. And I thought it was really interesting. I really hope they get a second season. This is another one with really compelling characters. I really liked the episode where they were in the diner. It felt kind of like a weird one-act play. And then I did end up reading the first comic. And I started the second one. I haven't finished it yet. But when I got to that scene in the diner, it's actually pretty close to the way they portrayed it in the show. So I thought that was cool. And I mean, I thought that whole scene was like pretty interesting. And just, I mean, the show kind of gets dark at times, but it also has a lot of lightness to it. And it is dark, but it is also uplifting, if that makes sense. And finally, another show that I really loved this year was a show that I did not think I was going to like at all, and that was Interview with the Vampire. Now, okay, I've been basically obsessed with Anne Rice since I was a teenager, and I love the Vampire Chronicles. Really, the Vampire Lestat and everything past that, I kind of love those books more than Interview with the Vampire, but I did enjoy Interview with the Vampire. I mean, that is kind of, that's the first one I read, and that is the one that kind of made me fall in love with the whole world. So, it'll always have like a special place in my heart. So when I heard about like all the changes they were making, like making, Louis Black. Well, I mean, I wasn't really that upset about the fact that they were making Louis Black. Like, that's fine. But the fact that they were changing the time period and that they were making Louis like a totally different like kind of character, because in the original book, Louis like a plantation owner who like owns slaves, and obviously he's not going to be that if he's like a black man. And then plus it's like now it's like in 1910 or so I was like, oh, this is I feel like they're making all these changes because they want it to be like woke, and I thought it was going to be just like a bunch of woke changes, like just for the sake of being woke, and like it was just gonna be annoying. But I tuned in and I loved the show. I love Lestat. Sam Reed, I think, is the actor's name, and Louis. I mean, he's really, really good. The pilot. The end of the first episode is like the best end of a first episode I have seen in a very long time. And I mean, I feel like they should both get Emmys, and he plays Lestat with such nuance and depth, and their relationship has so much depth, and like, yes, they did make some changes, like putting in a different timeline and making Louis a black character, and then making Claudia a little bit older and making her black as well. And Louis can read minds, which he couldn't do in the book. etc. But I feel like there's reasons for all the changes they made. Like, I feel like it serves the story that they're trying to tell. And it is different from the book. Like, they're doing their own thing. But I kind of feel like the spirit of the show that they're doing is more along the same lines of the spirit of the book than the 1994 movie even. And I really love it. And I didn't expect to like it that much. And now there's like an interracial kind of a dynamic between them, and that raises interesting questions. And then him being the same race as Claudia, and them being a different race as Lestat, like that, it raises interesting questions. The gayness, I mean, they just went for it, which it's totally there in the books, but it's a lot more like subtle in the books. But I actually really liked that they portrayed Louis and Lestat that way. They weren't just making changes like just to make changes to, satisfy some quota of like people on Twitter that are gonna bitch about, whatever. Because I feel like you can tell when shows and movies are doing that. I'm really excited to see where they go with it. I'm really, really, really excited to see when they finally get to the vampire Lestat. That's just going to be amazing. I mean, I've been wanting to see that book adapted on screen for like a really long time. And I think he's just perfect. So I feel like that's going to be really good. Well, all right, that's it for me. What about you guys? What were some of your favorite shows this year? I would love to hear about it. Yeah, I feel like it was a good year for TV. I kind of feel like most of the interesting stuff for the screen is being done on television, like really streaming most of it. All right, that's it for me. I will see you in the next video.